Hello everyone, welcome to EDU 259 Second Rationalization. Again, I am Monica Apepe and I am here to have our second rationalization with focus on the subject EDU 537. So let's begin with the first item, which is number 45, and the question is, which of the following is not a primary dimension of Loudon's diversity wheel? And the options are letter A, class, B, spiritual beliefs, C, gender, and letter D, first language. The correct answer is letter D, first language. So in 1990, Marilyn Loudon and Judy Roser developed a framework for thinking about the different dimensions of diversity within individuals and institutions. Loudon's depiction of important group-based differences was the diversity wheel. It is a model that pointed to what is core to our social identities, the ways in which people diverse a sense of self when identifying with certain groups. So here is Loudon's diversity wheel. As you can see, first language is not included in the primary dimension, but rather in the secondary dimension of the diversity wheel of Loudon's. That's it. Let's proceed to number 46. And the question is, which among the following is a negative statement about diversity? The options are letter A, people recognize and consider the differences of each other as important. Letter B, teachers may still provide quality education even in the absence of embracing diversity. Letter C, our global village brings out changing demographics both in the workforce and education. Letter D, it is imperative that we make an effort to understand the different dimensions of diversity. So the correct answer is letter B. Teachers may still provide quality education even in the absence of embracing diversity. So what does this statement makes it negative? So teachers should provide quality education for all students. They should understand that diversity and inclusion improve teaching and learning, and they should embrace them and give them their best to the students regardless of what differences they have. And teaching for diversity refers to acknowledging a range of differences in the classroom. Teaching for equity allows the differences to transform the way we think, teach, learn, and act, such all that experiences and ways of being are handled with fairness and justice. Teaching for inclusion signifies embracing differences. So inclusive education, the main point here is we should include all children and provide them quality learning regardless of the differences that they have, because children is always a children regardless of a disability each may have. Let's proceed to number 47, and the question is, which of the following is a positive statement about the people with disabilities? The choices are letter A, they have to be recognized as human beings who should not be discriminated against, but rather understood, accepted, and tolerated. Letter B, they have to be accorded their rights. Letter C, people with disabilities have to be perceived and accepted as people with distinct abilities. And letter D, all of the above. The correct answer is letter D, all of the above. So all of the answers are correct. So now the question is, how should we look at a person with disabilities? So people with disabilities are first and foremost people. People with disabilities are people who have individual abilities, interests, and needs. For the most part, they are ordinary individuals seeking to live ordinary lives. So people with disabilities are moms, dads, sons, daughters, brothers, sisters, friends, neighbors, co-workers, students, or even teachers. So people with disabilities are people. Always remember that. And always address someone using their names first rather than this disability they have. Always remember the people first policy, where you have to mention the person first before the disability they have. Like you have to say a child with autism rather than saying an autistic child. So always remember that. So let's proceed to item number 48. And the question is, which of the following does not belong to the index of inclusion? A. Producing exclusive policies. B. Evolving inclusive practices. Letter C. Creating inclusive cultures. And letter D. Producing inclusive policies. And the correct answer is letter A. Producing exclusive policies. So what is Index for Inclusions? So Index for Inclusions is a set of materials to guide schools through a process of inclusive school environment. It is about building supportive communities and fostering high achievement for all staff and students. It is mainly concerned with improving educational attainments through inclusive practice. So the three dimensions of Index for Inclusion are 1. Creating inclusive cultures. B. Producing inclusive policies. And 3. Evolving inclusive practices. As you can see, producing exclusive policies is not included in the three dimensions of Index for Inclusion. So this is the three dimensions of Index for Inclusion. It's very clear that there is only 3, which are producing inclusive policies, evolving inclusive practices, and creating exclusive cultures. So I guess that would be all for today. I hope you learned and refreshed your minds, our future teachers. And these are my references through online. So that would be all. Thank you so much, and